morning.
Good morning. We're all set for you, and I will make you a co-host, and you can.
Fantastic. So for a change, so usually on Wednesday mornings, I do this from my house, and I'm actually at the office this morning. It's been a crazy week. Who else is at the office? Even if it's your home office. Who's with me? Who's with me? I see April. I see Dawn coming on.
For now.
I see Tammy's hand. Okay. We got a lot more people coming in, so just we'll give them a minute. Courtney is working out again, like always, on the Company Huddle.
Surprise, surprise.
Awesome. Oh, get it.
I'm at my gym office.
I love it. I love it. Very inspiring. Okay, so I also want to make sure if maybe Stacy, you can text I want to make sure Michelle jumps on. I don't know what time she's going to be jumping on, but she's got some stuff to talk about today. I want her to talk about open houses. We discussed that we were going to kind of do an update there. So one of the things that I'll mention, oh, Cheryl, I forgot, you said you were going to be on these in the morning. Yay. You know, your background right now is great with your lighting because it looks like you're being sun-kissed with like the ocean behind you. So anyway, I wanted to give you guys a heads up. I believe, and if anybody knows any more about this, speak up. I believe that Mayor Victorino will be giving a press conference today. I put this in an email that I sent out to you guys, and I'm not 100% sure because, you know, these are rumors. However, I have heard that we may be talking about going back to stay at home or, you know, changing some things right now. So we'll have to see because of the clusters that we've had. And you guys may have seen the article. There was an article that came out about a big cluster in Harbor Lights. That was from a choir rehearsal, I guess is what the article said, a choir rehearsal. And I know they have been testing a lot there. They've tested, I mean, they've got like a lot more tests to go, I want to say. I think I was talking to Evie. I think she said it was like 2,000 people that they need to test for the total complex. And they have a pretty high percentage still showing up as positive. So, you know, you can expect that probably there's more people that have it. And so just, you know, obviously be aware, be careful. And then there were some other clusters too. Although I looked at the chart, and I don't know if you guys are following this. I really honestly don't look at it very frequently, but I did look at it after the cluster because there were some articles that came out, and I didn't bring them with me today, but I know that the highest percentage was from community spread. So as far as tourists coming back, that was it was like 11 or 12%. But really, you know, the highest percentage was community spread. So just be aware of that. And
so I see that.
So Lisa, on the radio this morning, the mayor said they're going to be testing tomorrow at Harbor Lights and at UH Maui, and that he said all the stuff that you might say if the next step was closing down, like basically
to give people a heads up.
Yeah,
the direction we're going.
He didn't say that though.
His whole thing is wanting to keep things under. I think he said like double digits is his thing, right? Like he just doesn't want to see once it starts to go into that again.
So Lisa.
So Stacy, yeah.
Michelle just texted back. Michelle's at the doctor right now. Open houses are fine for now until the mayor issues a new order for the county.
Okay, so basically I'll just cover what she and I talked about. I mean, if you are doing open houses, I mean, the whole point of it is to just be very careful. We had a situation where an agent was exposed. Fortunately, they tested negative. So, you know, when I sent out that email about the office and Kihei, it's also just to, I mean, if I did that, I do expect that we're going to hear more. There's going to be more situations like that, right? I mean, as I said in the email, this is just going to happen. This is going around. This is what's happening, and you just never know, and you never know how people are going to respond to it either. I mean, two of my family members have now gotten it, not that live here, but on the mainland, and they were both asymptomatic. Well, one of them ended up getting some symptoms, but at first she didn't know she had it. And, you know, it was pretty mild and minor compared to some other people. And then you've got people that, you know, we talk to where their family member passes away because, you know, you just don't know. So just be aware is the thing. And if you are going to do open houses, that you must follow proper protocols. I mean, there's just no getting around it. And even in the situation with this one agent that was following proper protocols, somebody came in that it turned out they tested positive. Somebody came into the open house. So just, again, your thing, heads up, they are still technically allowed at this point. That could change. I mean, depending on how far backwards we go in terms of where we were before with stay at home and what phase of the process we'll be in. So the point is, we'll let you guys know as soon as we have more information about, I mean, you'll be hearing it as well, I'm sure. And, you know, if there's information that you guys hear that you think is critical that we disseminate amongst the office, just, you know, send me an email or one of the members of the team, and we'll kind of go through it, because we're just, again, as I said in the email, we're in this together, and, you know, there's no set guideline or protocol or policy for a lot of this stuff. We're creating it for some of the things that we kind of have control over, but other than that, we just, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about today is I wanted to make you guys aware of something that honestly so few people even in this company know, because it was never, there was a press release that came out, but it wasn't through KW. And I think it's because they're still in the process of figuring out how this is shaping up, and they're doing some beta testing, but it's very important and it's such a cool thing, which is in the fall of 2020. Here, I'll just share my screen. Let me just pull up that document with you. I just kind of wrote a little overview for you guys. This is in regard to Keller Williams working with developers and our opportunity to support projects. So if you guys have a relationship with any, let me just try to move this over, any developers, this is a really cool conversation. Hang on, an opportunity for you. We need to move this. Why are you not moving? Why are you not moving? No, not you. Hold on. Oh my God, I'm going to start saying hold, please. Colette says that all the time now. Okay. So as of fall 2020, this was, and I happen to only find this because I have a client that is a developer, and I've been working with him on these projects for some time, which hopefully will come to fruition this year. We actually have some projects in the works, which is really exciting. And I was looking for some additional support through the KW, not just what we can do for them. And I came across this press release. I Googled it, and it wasn't even through KW. It was through PR Newswire. And part of the press release stated, and then I went to their website for more information, but as of fall 2020, developers who work with Keller Williams Realty offices also have the opportunity to utilize services and resources provided by, it's a company called Legacy International, which is a collection of real estate consulting, sales, and marketing firms specializing in master plan communities, neighborhoods, and urban mixed-use residences throughout the world. They're based in Austin, which makes sense that why they partnered with them, because they have a relationship. But they can do this, they do this globally. So these are some of the services that Legacy International provides, so that if, you know, you yourself want, or the developer wants additional support in these areas, which by the way, we can do all of these things as well. But if they want additional support or expertise, we can lean on these guys, which is super cool. And they had it's like $2 billion in, I can't remember what it says about them, but I looked at their website. So it says, so services include the following 5 stages process, which is what they call them: positioning, which is interviewing stakeholders; design and hospitality; project, brand positioning, and research. So sometimes somebody will come to you and they'll already have that phase done. So it really depends on who you're talking to. Planning, assign a sales team leader. Again, this is something we typically do, but they can, you know, we can get support from this company to help vet people. Conduct sales and marketing summit, review approved budgets and critical path, define legal and brokerage requirements, determine product segmentation and potential builders. 3 is the training side, which is one of the reasons we get projects, is because we as a company with Keller Williams, our training is so great that the developer can focus on what they want to do and need to do, and we can focus on the sales team and the training. But this is personnel growth, expansion, lead generation tactics, fulfillment processes, networking, and personal business planning. Then execution, determine product release methods, set appointments, determine ROI objectives and measurement systems, implement training, reporting and action planning, and then review, refinement, and execution. So their website for Legacy International, I put on here, which is legacyirp.com. So if you want to check them out and just look a little bit deeper into what they do, and you can send developers. I mean, the reason I want you guys to know this, obviously, is because we have opportunities that come up with developers, and you may have relationships and you have no idea the benefits that we can offer to a developer. So if we can get an opportunity to pitch to a developer, over, even like, say they're interviewing a couple companies, they're not really sure who they want to go with, or they might want to partner, they might have an in-house sales team and they want to partner with us, get in that lineup and just know that we do have some great things that we can share to support them that other companies may not be able to provide. So any thoughts or questions about that? Does anybody have any people that they know in their sphere of influence that might be a person to talk to? Now, keep in mind, this is not just for Hawaii, right? Because we are the largest real estate company in the world. So you can know somebody anywhere that's a developer that has a project, and then you can refer a Keller Williams agent or a lead sales team member to them, and guess who gets a referral fee potentially on every single unit that closes. I mean, that could be big for you guys. We can also do it in commercial. So it's just, again, top of mind, heads up. This is something we haven't really talked about. And this new partnership really just brought it again to the forefront, and does provide an extra thing. So if they need to lean on them for all of those things, depending on the size of their project too. I mean, this could work. We work with, and they could work with small projects or really large scale master plan communities. And we do have, like I said, we have a few in the works. In Hawaii, it can take a really, really, really long time. So that's, I've been working on one of these for 7 years, and looks like it's going to happen in 2021. So
keep going, Lisa. Don't give up.
Oh boy. Okay. Anything on that? Does anybody need to go further on that? Have relationships or people that they may want to reach out to or talk to? If you need support on that, or if you need examples of letters of intent or whatever, let me know, because I can help you with landing projects, which we've done in the past. Okay, any questions about that? Cool. So is anybody, based on that information, going to go look for projects? Okay, cool.
Hey, Lisa.
Yes. Hi, Steve.
How you doing? Sorry, watching the baby, so I'm just kind of lounging in the chair here. So I know there's 2 examples, and maybe this could help spark some ideas, but I know down here in Kihei, Kalamakai, I remember Maui Better Homes and Gardens was kind of running the show, and from start to finish, they, started talking to people in 2016, and it opened up 2019. And there's a new project I just heard about. I posted on my Facebook, but it's a Kilohana Makai project, and I noticed that Island Sothersby has a couple people at the bottom so they're doing, the listing part of that. I could, I'll definitely. I don't know if those are how they get involved, and maybe that's where you're talking about, but I can think of a couple builders that it's worth asking them. So I might get with you on that, but I am curious myself how they got their foot in the door, in the first place.
That's a really good question, and that's a great route to go with builders. Anybody who would be involved in projects, so whether that's a builder, that's a designer, architecture firm that you have a relationship with, having that conversation as early in the process as possible is really what we want. It's not always necessary, but typically and certain developers, just to answer your question about how certain companies get projects, I know with Sotheby's, for example, they have a relationship with, like, there's certain developers they've worked with before that typically may use them, or like if they have an in-house. Now that's not always the case. So some developers like to stick with one company. Some developers don't. They want to move into other companies and give other people an opportunity. And it also, some developers, depending on the price point. So if it's a special or a specialty type of project or a niche or a certain area. So there's so many considerations. But typically the relationships are there, whether it's with the brokerage itself or an agent in the brokerage, whether it's with somebody who is a part of that project. You know, I mean, the ones that, like for us in the past, it's been the relationship. It was a relationship with the agent, and they didn't want to use a brokerage. So one of the last projects, that was a big project we did, they didn't want to use the company that the agents were currently with, because they felt that their reach wasn't as broad, and the type of product that they were selling maybe needed a different company to support that. And so we ended up taking on the project because we were a great company to fit that particular product, if that makes sense. I mean, my argument would be we can do anything. I mean, we've done high ultra luxury to you know, workforce housing. So it's really having the conversation at a point and through people, you know, where it's like, hey, have you selected somebody to, it's just like if you're getting a listing, right? Have you selected somebody to work with yet? No, you know, I'd love the opportunity to support this project or show you how we can help you earn more, right? Sell at a higher price sell at a higher price in less amount of time. I mean, right, you know, essentially. Or really the exposure. I mean, for us, just a key thing would be that nobody has the kind of reach that we do internationally, nationally and internationally, being the largest real estate company in the world. So if, you know, that's a huge advantage that we have. But really, I mean, does anybody want to speak to, because Keone, you've been involved. I know Stacy, you've been involved in projects. Anybody who's been involved in projects, maybe to share a little bit how that relationship came to fruition with who was going to be the sale, you know, who was representing the sales side of it?
Yeah. Go ahead, Aisha.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I engineer the development on the electrical side. So I do the electrical engineering for developers. So I have a developer that I've been working with for years now, and you know, so that might be something we can approach him about if we know a little bit more specifics. Do they, like, if you take on the entire subdivision, do they still pay the same commission, or is it reduced commission? That would matter to them. Is it at what stage in the game do we jump in? Is it when they do the pre-sale after they get bonded? Are we able to help them with the pre-sale that early in the process, or it has to be when the TMK is issued? You know, it's just, I need specifics.
Yeah.
To be able to,
so I can help you, Aisha, too. I mean, on the commission structure, it's negotiable like anything else. I can give you an idea of what I've seen in terms of what makes sense or what we're looking at. So it can vary. I mean, based on you got to do a needs analysis with the client, just like anybody else, to see what that is. But there is going to be a minimum in terms of what we charge, just like when we take a listing. It's also going to depend on whether they're offering compensation to a buyer's broker. So if only the listing side is getting paid, or whether they're gonna, because some developers don't offer compensation, or I should say some of the listing companies don't offer compensation based on their contract with the developer. Meaning, you know, I could sell a project like Spencer Homes, right? Spencer Homes is one that sometimes didn't offer, for example. So you could bring a buyer, but you're not going to get paid by the developer if you bring a buyer. So
as a dual agent. So if you acted as a dual agent and you also brought the buyer,
well, they may be a dual agent or not. I mean, they may just not be represented, or they may just work with the listing company and yes, be a dual agency. So that part, as far as the commission depends. You also asked about what stage in the process. As early as possible is what I'm going to just say. I mean,
so we can be involved.
prior to pre-sales, because like I said, I've been working on this thing with this guy for 7 years. It's
Yeah.
highly unlikely that they're going to go with another company. Highly
Right.
unlikely.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was with another company before I was here. It was 7 years ago when I started, but he's keeping it with me
When you
because I've done
started.
it and helped him.
It is
So
very relationship based.
yes. So
Very.
you want
Very
to,
much.
and there are things you're going to do for no pay. I mean, it's kind of, when you're on a project too, the other thing that you have to realize, you guys, even if you're just a sales agent and you come in later in the process, once we're doing pre-sales, keep in mind, I mean, it's not like totally glamorous. Not everybody does projects, because oftentimes you have a period of time where you may not get paid, like for months. If you're on a project and you can't sell outside of that project, now these are things that we negotiate, right? And there's no stipend. You may have months that you don't have a paycheck before you start.
2006 Moana Estates, just an example.
So
Didn't
Stacey,
get
how
paid.
long were you?
Like
how
8
long?
months.
8 months? Okay. So in that
Took
case,
that
it's
long.
8 months. And I mean, it can be more than that. So one of the things
Yeah.
that we would want to do is negotiate on your behalf, right? Or on our behalf as a brokerage, but you as the agent, to be able to not put you in that kind of position if that's what you're going to do. Some developers will negotiate there, some won't. So anyway, as early as possible, and it's very relationship based. So Aisha, maybe creating for you would be a good idea to have a strategic plan around your contacts that are developers or projects that you're working on, and that conversation and how that goes. So if you're doing, are you coaching? Are you doing coaching right now or no? Like when,
You mean productivity coach?
yeah.
Yeah, Rochelle is my productivity coach.
Okay. So what I would do is talk to Rochelle about putting together a specific campaign or plan or scripting around this for your contacts, and then do a campaign, which would include phone calls or email blasts or something that where they know, because they may not even realize it's an option for them or what we have to offer them.
That's
so yeah, that would be great.
And it is all, like Stacey said, it is all relationship based. So like Steve, if you got a builder, you find him the property, right? And that's how it all begins. I mean, when I was, when we had Carol Ball and Associates, we did Keonikai Villages, Ocean View Estates, Gardens Up Country, Maui Lani, a bunch of those phases. And, Maui Lani has a bunch of phases still available, right? So the land's there, the entitlements are there. Those ones are easy, because it's already kind of there. It's quicker, right? But it is a long haul game, but I would try to be hired on as a consultant if you're bringing in the project, right? Because then you're working and getting paid. I mean, and then for the sales agents, yeah, you got to worry about that, because then you get focused into the project sale and all the other general sales go away, right? Which is dangerous, because then you're not making money for 8 months like Stacey, but then, you have this huge windfall at the end, right? So that's the worth it part. And you get a huge education if you get to be a consultant on it, because you run around to the county and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's the contacts, right? You meet somebody, they got a bunch of money to invest. Okay, now you got a builder, right? Now you go find the property. Where are properties that are already ready to go, right? They're in the money. Right? Developers want to make money. And I remember testifying in front of the council saying this years ago when the affordable housing thing was, still going. I mean, it's still going now, but this is when it first started. I told them, look, developers are in it for the money. They don't care where it is, right? So you just have to find acquisition costs, right? How much is this land going to cost? Now, do I want to build houses or do I want to just sell lots, right? Those projects I named off, some were condos, some were just vacant lots, which were super easy, right? You drive around in the golf cart, you go, you want to live here, or here, right? You build whatever you want. Some projects, they give you the whole thing, right? House and all. So you move in at the end. So there's plenty of different ways to do it, but it all starts with that relationship. And sometimes you bring it all together, right? So you should be paid for that. That's called a consultant. Anyway.
That's a really good point.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you for mentioning that, though, because we do forget, and some people don't know, especially if you're newer, that you actually can be a consultant for things and you can charge a fee for that. So if you need help with what that structure would look like, talk to your broker, talk to your coach, if you have an opportunity to do that. The other things we've done as far as consultant based, might be where you have a situation like I used to help people. I worked for a mortgage company, and then I got my license and my real estate license, and I would help people facilitate the transfer of properties with an attorney. But I would be their licensed real estate salesperson, consultant, or broker, where they wanted to like sell the property to a family member or to somebody they already had a buyer, and you know, it was a unique situation. So you can actually do that as a with a fee as a consultant, but you just have to talk to your broker and also get approval if it's any kind of a reduced commission based on what we typically as a company want you guys to charge. It has to be approved, the situation, but you can do it and you can make money. I mean, that's your expertise. So to offer that service to somebody, and where it's not a, you know, you're not finding them the property, it's already a deal and they want you to help them, which is great. Sometimes they can do it with just an attorney. Of course they can do it with just an attorney. However, it is good to have somebody who understands the real estate documents at the level that we do. Obviously, attorneys understand it from their perspective and their legal perspective. We understand it in a different way, and that can be incredibly beneficial, and we can explain it in a different way. So having both, I usually recommend to people that if they're going to do something like that, that they have both. You know, they have a realtor and a attorney, and then you guys can work together on that, and there's, you know, a fee involved. I'm just going to answer some. Let me just look at the chat box. Did you say that Stacy? So Kilohana Mackay project, Steve, that was the Sotheby's one you were talking about, Kilohana Mackay?
Yes, and I put the link in there,
Yeah.
and you'll see the two agents' names. I don't know if there's just two involved or not, but
Well,
and this is workforce housing, but it's like $500,000 to $800,000.
Okay.
well, they've been talking to them for a long time. I remember when it was going through the council, and I
Yeah.
saw
Oh,
them
yeah.
in the gallery. So they were partnered, you know, a long time before they even came to
Sure,
council for
sure.
approval. Yeah.
Well,
Now that doesn't mean you can, if you know, say you know a developer or you know somebody involved in that project, you can solicit. We can't solicit and interfere with a contract that somebody has, whether it's a listing, and this goes for individual listing agreements, right? We know that if somebody has a buyer rep or a listing agreement for that particular transaction, that particular deal, we can't interfere with that. However, we can solicit for future business. There's nothing illegal about soliciting for future business. So say you talk to somebody that's a developer and they have another project going with another brokerage, fine. You don't talk about that. You say, awesome, I would love to have a conversation with you about a future project. Can we talk about how we can be in business together in the future? You do that, start to develop the relationship now for their next project. Go talk to the developer.
Lisa.
Yeah. Michelle, hi.
The developer on that project, Howard, is a broker with Island Sotheby's.
Yeah.
And he's part of the development ownership with Sandra Davachel for Kilohana Mackay. So
yeah,
I wouldn't pursue that project because he brokers everything they build. He did the Conopoli project and many others. But
right. Well, I would
just
say
want our agent to spend time pursuing that.
Yeah. Now, yeah, so don't pursue that project. However, you can pursue a future project with him, and I wouldn't count him out. Oh, this says I'm Cheryl, sorry. I wouldn't count him out because we actually talked to him at one point about potentially doing a project for him. So, you know, he's not married. He's not married.
Hey, Lisa, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
I was able to get into a project, the one that was with Maui Better Homes and Gardens, and another agent at the time, you know, wasn't anything to do with real estate, referred me to come take a look at it. And I swear he got his side of it or some credit or some compensation for it. I don't know, but it might be a totally different situation. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they do offer it. So it just depends on what the compensation is. Okay, let's see. If you haven't picked up your Ignite binder yet, Sam is saying, please call and try to pick it up today. If we have a shutdown, picking up binders may get difficult. Yeah, thank you for thinking ahead there, Sam. We do want you to have your physical binder for Ignite because everything is like chunked in there. I mean, you can access it online, but it's you know, to be able to write and do the exercises and everything through Ignite, this is going to be a killer Ignite. I'm so excited about it. You guys got a huge group that are all amazing. I mean, just such great people. So definitely get your Ignite stuff. Side note, Lisa's lashes could sell all the projects. Love them. Courtney, I love you. Thank you. Yeah, she went nuts on my lashes this time for New Year's. So if anybody wants more information, I've actually sent more people to her from this posting a picture with my lashes after I got them than ever in the past. So it must mean that they look better than they have in the past. Okay.
On fleek, as they say.
On fleek, on fleek. Hashtag on fleek. Okay. Keep your eyes open and ears. So Stacy just says, keep your eyes open and ears to conversations that are going on. Who's buying the land? Are they corporations, etc.? Yeah. I mean, you will hear, the more you kind of dig into it, you start to get to know all the projects, all the people involved. But here's another good way to get in, like, just like those of you who might want to really sell like ultra luxury, sometimes it's a challenge to just get a $10 million listing right away your first time out the gate. So what you want to do is build up to that, build your relationships and work your way up and start with, 1.5 million and 2.5 million and 3 million and 5 million. And, once you start to build that up, then you have the credibility and portfolio. Now we do have a lot of cool luxury stuff where you can lean on our luxury agents, and we're going to do more of that in 2021. However, the same thing with projects. So like Keone was mentioning something that is important, which is there are a lot of people that want to do smaller projects, like, especially we have a lot of mainland people that don't understand what the process is of getting a project through here, or that they have no idea if they're building somewhere else where it's a lot easier. So yeah, people with money that might want to invest in Maui and do smaller, like if they do a lot that has, like Keone said, it could be just vacant land. It could be something that somebody just wants to subdivide, that they already have a property, they want to subdivide, CPR. If you are talking to those people, they might just want to build residential condos, on a property that's properly zoned. So you can start with the individual ones like that are kind of a lot easier to come by. And there's more of those smaller type projects, and you can learn a lot on those. So it's a really good way to get your foot in the door and then build up a portfolio of your expertise. Now, again, you can lean on the company for the portfolio too, which is what some people do. Okay.
Gardens of Country is only 20 condo units, they're 20 luxury condo units. So.
Yep. So just know that a project is anything from, as soon as you really have multiple, even multi-family, anything that's right, once you get into multifamily, it's pretty much a project. So
and you can make money at.
Yes. All right, so I guess we did a lot on projects today, which I think is good. So Michelle, I already talked about open houses, and so I don't know if there's anything you want to mention.
Aside from
with the announcement today, possible announcement today.
Yeah, no, we're going to monitor it before what we can't do moving forward. It's a fluid situation. So I've heard conflicting tips today that it could not.
Okay, we're
at home, but I also heard.
Sorry, it was cutting out. You heard conflicting things, could be stay at home, maybe not, and we're going to monitor things. That's what I got from that.
And now she's inaudible.
And we're in and out. Okay. All right. Lee, since you're on, one of the things, just real quick too, is I mentioned we are going to be working more on some luxury stuff. So those of you who you may not have been aware, but their Keller Williams Realty Luxury International has a new kind of spearheader, which is Brady Sondal, who's an amazing luxury agent out of Palm Springs. He has actually been here. He has a house in Kona. or on that side. Big Island spends a lot of time there. He did a mastermind with us over there. We have a great relationship with them. He's now pretty much the head of luxury for Keller Williams, which is awesome. And so they're rolling out a lot of really great additional benefits for luxury members. So we're going to be very focused. And I think maybe Lee Potts is going to be involved, and Dean Otto will be involved. And then we're going to invite you guys to attend. My goal is to eventually have monthly, to get to the point where we have monthly meetings with all of our luxury members. And then also have, so that includes people, it'll include anybody who's currently a Luxury International member and qualifies for that. Can somebody mute whoever is loud? Because I can't see. Latasha, maybe you can search for that. We are going to have, because we've been looking for a director of luxury. And so I've been talking to, Lee and Dean about maybe partnering up on doing that together with monthly meetings. And then anybody who wants to get into luxury, there will be opportunities to do that as well. So we're going to support you guys into getting into the luxury. What is the price point going to be at this point, and how many sales do you have to have? That's something that we have to decide and send to our region probably by the end of the month. So we started looking at the data. Last year it was pretty low. I mean, the barrier to entry was like 1.5 million, which is not super high. We didn't, because we wanted to put it at a place where we wouldn't discourage, that we could allow people to step into it. And also we didn't want to be competing against another brokerage that is telling a seller that they can market their property under the luxury brand at 1.5, and we're telling them we can't until they're at 2.5 or whatever. So that was a consideration of where we picked it. It's probably going to be slightly higher than that, maybe, but we'll let you guys know. And then it'll be, normally it was 2 sales a year at that price point. However, I read something from KW that looks like they may only require 1 sale at that price point. So we'll let you know as soon as we have that scheduled, and then we'll do an initial luxury meeting. I got to meet with Lee and Dean again before we do that. And then on the Big Island, I got to meet with Dan and Leola, who's the luxury broker over there. So we'll let you guys know. And I'm going to let you go because it's 9:07. So thank you so much, and have a great rest of the week, and reach out if you need anything or have any other questions. And then those of you who are starting Ignite on the 12th, you're going to rock it. It's going to be awesome. So thank you guys. And yes, open houses. Sorry, what was said about open houses? Yeah, still on the same protocol, Chris, right now. And then we will give you an update when we have one. Okay.
And Lisa?
Yes.
I know you want to wrap it up, but so for our agents, I thought that might be relevant. This is exactly what our engineering firm specializes in. We do subdivision electrical infrastructure design. So awesome. If you're starting to talk to the developer and they haven't engaged with the electrical engineering, we can quote the job. So that's an added service maybe that, an agent can.
Send them to Aisha. I think that's great. We want to support you guys first. So yeah, if you have stuff like that, then we're happy to send them your way.
Hey, Lisa.
Oh. Yep.
Lisa, this is Tom Griffith. Can I make a quick plug as well?
Yes, Tom.
So I do consulting for real estate developers. That's my whole background, real estate finance and real estate development. I've worked with the developers of Luana, Villas, Montage Cabo. So if you have any small investors that are looking to build something here, but they need a liaison or an owner's rep, that's what I do. I'm still doing it right now at Luana. So it's basically, they buy land or they have something that they want to invest in, and now what do we do with it? Permitting all the way to close out. So that's
awesome. You guys gave me a great idea. You know what we're going to do? We can start our own in-house developer resource team. Like, let's do it. I think it's great.
I've done it all over the world.
You two are on the list, and we'll get that set up. Maybe I can have somebody spearhead that. If you want to volunteer, raise your hand. Maybe it's you, Aisha.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. Let's do it. So we'll do that this year. And then Stacy's reminding everybody for family reunion. Of course, they're interested in attending because everybody's attending family reunion because you don't want to miss out on that. Don't be ridiculous. You can call Stacy because we can get you discounted tickets if we have a bundle. Okay. So she put her number in the chat. Call Stacy. All right, you guys. Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, Lisa. That was a great meeting.
you.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks, you guys.
Let's see.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.